There are moments in life when the noise becomes too much. The stress, the pressure, the endless rushing, it all builds up until we feel like we can't breathe. I know that feeling well. It's the reason this book exists. Benefits of Meditation was not written from a place of perfection or peace, but from a personal journey of struggle, searching, and finally, a quiet discovery that changed everything. My name is Timothy T. Jacob, and this book is a reflection of something real. Not just words on a page, but a pathway that helped me and many others find clarity in the chaos. I didn't set out to write a book at first. I simply began to sit in silence. What I found in that silence was powerful. A calm strength, a deeper understanding of myself, and a peace I had been chasing for years. As the practice of meditation became a part of my daily life, I felt a calling to share it. Not in complicated language or spiritual theories, but in simple, clear, human words. I wanted people from all walks of life to understand that meditation isn't just for monks or gurus. It's for mothers, students, workers, dreamers, the anxious, the tired, and the curious. It's for you. That's why this book is being released not through big publishers or fancy bookstores, but through the heart of something much more meaningful. A YouTube channel called Fearless Audio. Fearless Audio is more than a channel. It's a safe space. A place where voices carry hope. A place where silence speaks healing. A place where you can sit back, close your eyes, and simply listen. That's why I chose to bring benefits of meditation to life there, because this message was never meant to sit quietly on a shelf. It was meant to reach your ears, your heart, and your life, wherever you are. Every chapter in this book was crafted with intention and love. Each word is an invitation to slow down, to breathe, and to remember who you really are beneath the noise. My hope is that as you listen, something awakens in you, something soft but powerful, something that says, peace is possible. This is not just a book you read, it's a book you experience. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and thank you for supporting the channel that made it all possible. If this message speaks to you, I invite you to support Fearless Audio by subscribing, sharing, and helping us grow this peaceful movement. Now let's begin. Introduction: the noise outside, the silent in. Life moves fast. Most days it feels like we are rushing from one thing to the next. Work, messages, tasks, responsibilities. Our minds are constantly busy, full of thoughts, worries, plans, and what ifs. Even when we try to rest, our brains often keep spinning. It's no wonder so many people feel tired, stressed, and disconnected. In all the noise of modern life, we've forgotten how to be still. But there is a quiet place inside you, a space untouched by stress, fear, or confusion. It's always been there. You don't need to go anywhere to find it. You simply need to pause and listen. This is where meditation begins. Meditation is not just for monks or spiritual teachers. It's not about sitting for hours or trying to empty your mind. Meditation is about coming home to yourself. It's a simple practice of slowing down, breathing, and becoming present. In that presence, something powerful happens. You start to feel peace. You begin to reconnect with your heart, with your purpose, with the world around you. This book is your guide to that journey. Inside these pages, you will discover the many gifts that meditation offers. You'll learn how it helps reduce stress, improve sleep, clear your mind, and open your heart. You'll read stories of healing and change. You'll find simple steps to begin your own meditation practice, no matter your age, background, or belief. More than anything, this book is an invitation to stop running and start breathing, to turn down the volume of the outside world and tune into the wisdom within. You don't need to fix yourself. You are not broken. You just need to remember who you really are beneath all the noise. Stillness is not empty. It's full of answers, and you are about to discover them. Let's begin. Chapter 1. What is meditation really? Have you ever felt like your thoughts were louder than the world around you? Like no matter how quiet the room was, your mind kept going, replaying past conversations, worrying about the future, or just jumping from one random idea to another? That's the reality for so many of us today. We live in a world full of information, noise, and constant pressure to be on. And while our bodies move through the day, our minds rarely stop. Meditation is the simple, powerful practice of pausing that noise and coming back to yourself. Let's be honest. When most people hear the word meditation, they picture someone sitting cross-legged with eyes closed, maybe on a mountain or in a fancy retreat center. They think it's something for spiritual people, yoga lovers, or monks in distant places. But that's not what meditation truly is. Meditation isn't about looking a certain way or living a certain lifestyle. It's not about chanting, changing your religion, or doing something perfectly. It's about being present, right here, right now, with whatever is happening in your body, mind, and heart. Meditation is for everyone. You don't have to be peaceful to start meditating. You can come to it feeling stressed, sad, tired, or even angry. That's the beautiful thing. Meditation doesn't judge you. It doesn't expect you to be anyone other than who you are in this moment. All it asks is that you show up. You take a breath, you sit still, even for just a minute. And in that stillness, something begins to shift. At its most basic level, meditation is about awareness. It's noticing your breath, your thoughts, your feelings without needing to change them. You don't have to push anything away or hold anything tight. You simply watch. And in that watching, you start to see how your mind works. You begin to recognize patterns. Maybe you notice how quickly your mind jumps to worry, or how often it clings to small annoyances. And instead of getting caught in those thoughts, you learn to let them pass, like clouds drifting through the sky. Let's try to understand meditation with a simple example. Imagine you are sitting by a river, watching the water flow. Every leaf, stick, or ripple that passes is like a thought. Instead of jumping into the river to chase every leaf, you just sit and watch them go by. That's what meditation teaches you. Your thoughts will come. They'll move through your mind just like the river flows, but you don't have to chase them. You don't have to fight them. You can simply watch. And in doing so, you start to find a deep, calm space inside yourself that isn't shaken by every wave. There are many forms of meditation, but they all lead to the same place, presence. You can sit quietly and focus on your breathing. You can repeat a word or phrase like peace or I am calm. You can walk slowly, paying attention to each step. You can even wash the dishes or drink a cup of tea with complete awareness, noticing the sensations, smells, and sounds. That too is meditation. The important part isn't how you do it. The important part is that you do it. Let me share another example. There was a man who had a very stressful job. Every day, he came home tense, exhausted, and irritated. He didn't think meditation was for him. I'm too busy, he said. My mind is too loud. But he gave it a try. Just 5 minutes a day. He sat on the edge of his bed each morning, closed his eyes, and focused on his breath. At first, it felt impossible. His mind wandered constantly, but slowly something changed. After a few weeks, he noticed he wasn't snapping at his kids as often. He started sleeping better. He even began to smile more. Nothing outside had changed. His job was still stressful, but he had changed. Meditation had given him the power to respond instead of react. That's the power of stillness. Meditation doesn't promise to remove your problems. Life will still be life, full of ups and downs, joy and pain. But meditation gives you a new way to face those moments. It helps you create a little space between what happens to you and how you respond. In that space, there is choice, there is peace, there is freedom. It's easy to think we don't have time to meditate, but the truth is, we don't have time not to. Even a few minutes of quiet each day can make a big difference. You don't have to do it for hours. You don't have to sit like a statue. You just have to start. One breath, one moment, one step towards stillness. Another common misunderstanding is that meditation means emptying the mind. That's not true. The mind will always think. It's what it does. Meditation isn't about turning your mind off. It's about noticing your thoughts without letting them control you. It's like being in a car with your thoughts. Before meditation, they're in the driver's seat. After meditation, you are. Think of it this way. Your mind is like a wild horse. At first, it runs in every direction, but with gentle practice, patience, and care, it starts to calm. You don't force it, you guide it. And over time, it begins to listen. Let me give you another real-life example. There was a woman who had gone through a painful loss. Her heart felt heavy every day. Friends told her to stay strong or keep busy, but she felt lost. She began meditating, just sitting in silence with her grief. She didn't try to fix it or push it away. She just breathed and allowed herself to feel. Slowly, the pain began to soften. She felt more connected to herself, more able to move through her day. Meditation didn't erase her sadness, it helped her hold it with compassion. This is the heart of meditation, acceptance. You don't come to meditation to escape your life. You come to meet it, fully, openly, bravely. You come to meet yourself. And the most beautiful part is this: everything you need is already within you. The calm, the clarity, the strength. Meditation doesn't give you something new. It helps you remember what was always there. So what is meditation really? It's a way back to your center, a path to inner peace in a world that often feels chaotic. It's a tool, a gift, a gentle friend that walks with you through every season of life. Meditation is not a task to complete. It's a doorway to a deeper experience of living. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to feel ready. You just have to begin. Close your eyes. Take a breath. You've already started. Chapter 2. Peace in a restless world. Have you ever woken up already feeling tired? Not just in your body, but in your mind and heart? The kind of tired where you feel overwhelmed before the day even begins. You look at your phone, check your messages, glance at the news, and suddenly your mind is racing. Even before your feet touch the floor, stress has already arrived. This is the reality for many people today. We are living in a fast-moving world that never seems to pause, and in the middle of all this movement, it can be hard to find peace. But peace is not something that only exists on vacations or in quiet places far away. True peace isn't something outside of us, it's something we carry within, and meditation is the key to finding it. Our world is louder than ever. Notifications, emails, social media, news, traffic, expectations, the noise never ends. And with all this noise, our minds get pulled in every direction. We feel pressure to do more, achieve more, be more. But here's the truth. You are not a machine. You were not made to run nonstop. You were made to breathe, to feel, to rest, to be. Meditation helps us remember that. When you meditate, even for a few minutes, you step out of the storm and into stillness. You stop chasing and start listening. You give your nervous system a break. Your heart slows down. Your breath becomes deeper. Your body begins to soften. The tension you've been carrying, sometimes without even knowing, is given a chance to release. Let me tell you a story that shows how powerful this can be. There was a high school teacher who loved her job, but she often felt overwhelmed. She would wake up thinking about lesson plans, spend her day rushing between classes, and go to bed worrying about her students. She felt like she was always giving but never had time to recharge. One day, during a workshop, she learned a simple breathing technique, just 5 minutes of sitting quietly and focusing on her breath. She started doing it every morning before school. It didn't change her schedule or remove her stress entirely, but it changed how she carried it. She felt more present in class, more patient with her students, and more grounded within herself. She realized that peace didn't require a break from life. It just needed a few minutes of stillness within it. That's what meditation gives you, a pause button for your soul. When we are always in motion, we start to lose connection, not just with others, but with ourselves. We forget what calm feels like. We forget to breathe deeply. We forget to enjoy the little things. But when we take time to sit in silence, we return to those things. We begin to notice the beauty in everyday moments, the warmth of sunlight, the sound of birds, the simple rhythm of our breath. These small moments hold great peace, and meditation opens our eyes to them. Stress isn't just a feeling. It has real effects on our bodies. It can raise our blood pressure, weaken our immune system, disturb our sleep, and cloud our thinking. It can make us feel like we're constantly running on empty. But meditation is like filling your cup again. It calms the body, clears the mind, and soothes the heart. Science supports this too. Many studies show that regular meditation can reduce stress hormones, improve mental focus, and help us respond more calmly to life's challenges. Think of it like this. If your life is a garden, stress is like weeds that keep growing. Meditation is the act of pulling those weeds gently, one by one, so the flowers, the joy, the peace, the presence have room to grow. Here's another real-life example. There was a single father who worked 2 jobs to support his kids. He loved them deeply, but between work and parenting, he had almost no time for himself. He felt drained and often found himself getting frustrated over small things. One evening, he read an article about meditation and decided to try it. After putting his kids to bed, he sat on the couch, closed his eyes, and just breathed for 10 minutes. It was hard at first. His thoughts kept wandering, and he felt restless, but he kept at it day by day. Slowly, something changed. He started feeling calmer. He had more patience. Even though his life was still busy, his inner world began to feel more peaceful. He said, meditation didn't make my life easier. It made me stronger. Peace doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means you're calm in the middle of everything. And that's something meditation helps you build, a calm center within, no matter what's going on outside. It's like building a quiet room inside your heart, a place you can return to anytime, anywhere. The world may still be loud, but you no longer feel lost in the noise. Meditation also teaches us that peace isn't something you have to earn. You don't have to finish your to-do list, fix all your problems, or wait until the weekend to feel calm. You can choose peace now. You can sit down, close your eyes, and breathe right in the middle of your busy day. That one breath, taken with full attention, can be a doorway to stillness. It's okay if you don't feel peaceful when you first start meditating. Many people feel restless at the beginning. That's normal. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just means your body and mind are adjusting to something new. Think of meditation like gently turning down the volume on a very loud radio. It takes time, but with practice, the noise softens and the silence underneath begins to rise. You deserve that silence. You deserve to feel what it's like to be still, to be centered, to be calm, no matter what's happening around you. That kind of peace is not weakness, it's strength. It's the kind of strength that lets you walk through a chaotic world without losing yourself. It's the strength to pause, to breathe, to choose your response instead of reacting in fear or frustration. So, how do you begin? Start small. You don't need an hour or a quiet room or any special tools. Just take 2 minutes each day to sit in silence. Focus on your breath. Let your thoughts come and go. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your breath. That's the practice, not stopping your thoughts, but returning again and again to the present moment. And over time, something beautiful happens. The peace that once felt far away becomes part of who you are. You carry it with you, to work, to conversations, to challenges. You become a little more patient, a little more kind, a little more at home in your own heart. And the world, though still busy and wild, begins to feel less overwhelming. Because now you know the secret. Peace doesn't live out there. It lives in you. And through meditation, you've learned how to find it. Let's keep going. Your journey inward has only just begun. Chapter 3, Knowing Yourself Through Meditation. In today's world, we are connected to everyone, yet somehow many of us feel disconnected from ourselves. We scroll through photos, watch videos, check updates from people we barely know. We know what's trending, what others are doing, what the world is shouting about. But when we pause and ask, how do I really feel right now? Sometimes there's silence. We've become strangers to our own thoughts, emotions, and inner world. Meditation is not just about peace or relaxation. One of its most beautiful gifts is self-awareness. It helps you truly know yourself, not who the world tells you to be, not who you pretend to be, but who you really are deep inside. We spend so much time looking outward, seeking approval, chasing goals, comparing ourselves to others. But meditation gently turns your focus inward. It invites you to sit with yourself, just as you are, and listen. In this quiet space, without distraction, you begin to notice things you hadn't before. You start to understand your habits, your reactions, your dreams, and your pain. You begin to meet the person within you. This kind of knowing is powerful. When you know yourself, you stop living on autopilot. You stop repeating the same patterns that keep you stuck. You start making choices that align with your truth. You begin to build a life that feels right, not because it looks good from the outside, but because it feels good on the inside. Let's consider a simple story. There was a college student who always felt the need to please others. She said yes to everything: extra projects, helping friends, staying up late to support someone else, even when she was exhausted. Over time, she started feeling empty, confused, and lost. She didn't know who she was anymore without trying to make others happy. One of her professors introduced her to mindfulness meditation. She began to practice for 10 minutes a day. At first, she didn't notice much, but as weeks passed, she began to feel something shift. She realized how often she said yes out of fear of rejection, fear of being unloved. She also realized how tired she was, how much she had ignored her own needs. Meditation didn't fix her problems overnight, but it gave her clarity. It helped her see herself clearly for the first time. With time, she began setting healthy boundaries and making choices that supported her well-being and slowly rediscovering her true voice. That's the magic of self-awareness. It frees you. Through meditation, you learn to observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Instead of pushing them away or getting lost in them, you watch them like waves in the ocean, rising and falling, coming and going. You begin to understand what triggers your anger, what makes you anxious, what brings you joy. You discover your deepest fears and your quietest hopes. Most people never take the time to sit with themselves in silence. It can feel uncomfortable at first. You may feel restless, bored, or even sad. But these feelings are not bad. They are part of you. They are signals from within, asking to be heard, healed, or held. Meditation gives them a safe space to speak. Another story shows this well. A young artist struggled with self-doubt. No matter how much praise she received, she never felt good enough. She kept comparing her work to others and felt like she didn't belong. One day, a friend invited her to a meditation class. She was hesitant but went anyway. As she practiced over time, she began to notice the harsh voice inside her, the one that always said, "You're not good enough." She had never realized how loud that voice was. Through meditation, she didn't argue with the voice. She simply noticed it and returned to her breath. Over time, the voice softened. A new voice emerged, kinder, more accepting. She didn't become confident overnight, but she began to create from a place of joy, not fear. She finally started to feel at home in her own skin. This is what happens when we sit with ourselves. We stop hiding. We start healing. Knowing yourself also means knowing your values. What truly matters to you? What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of life do you want to live? These answers don't come from books or social media. They come from silence. They come when you give yourself time to listen. Meditation also helps you recognize your strengths. So often we focus on what's wrong with us, our flaws, our mistakes, our regrets. But within you are also deep sources of strength, courage, kindness, creativity, patience. Meditation helps you notice those too. It reminds you that you are more than your worries. You are more than your pain. You are a whole, complex, beautiful being, worthy of love and understanding. Let's look at another example. An older man had retired after working for 40 years. His days used to be full, but now he felt useless and invisible. He struggled with loneliness and wondered what his purpose was now. A local library held free meditation sessions, and out of curiosity, he joined. As he practiced regularly, he began to reflect on his life. Not just the years he had worked, but the lessons he had learned, the kindness he had given, the love he had shared. Meditation became a mirror where he could see the value of his life. Slowly, he stopped feeling invisible. He began to volunteer, sharing his wisdom with younger generations. He felt alive again, not because he was busy, but because he was connected to himself. That's what knowing yourself does. It reconnects you to life. It's easy to spend our days being busy, doing things, chasing goals, ticking boxes, but lose touch with why we're doing them. Meditation brings you back to your why. It helps you see clearly. And with that clarity, your actions become more meaningful. Your relationships become more honest. Your days become more alive. One of the most inspiring things about self-awareness is that it makes you more compassionate, not just toward yourself, but toward others. When you understand your own struggles, you become gentler with the struggles of those around you. You stop judging so quickly. You start listening more deeply. You realize that everyone is carrying something, just like you. And that understanding creates a softer, more loving world. In this journey of meditation, you will meet many parts of yourself. Some you like, some you don't. But every part has something to teach you. Every part is a piece of your story. Meditation doesn't ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be real, to be honest, to be present. And in that honesty, you will discover strength you didn't know you had. You will find peace not by changing who you are, but by coming home to who you've always been. So as you continue your journey, remember this: the most important relationship you will ever have is with yourself. And through meditation, you are building that relationship, breath by breath, moment by moment. Keep going. You are worth knowing. Chapter 4, Healing Begins Within. Life can be beautiful, but it can also be painful. At some point, we all carry wounds, some seen, some hidden deep inside. These wounds can come from loss, failure, rejection, betrayal, or even from the pressure of being someone we are not. We try to move on, to smile through the pain, to stay strong. But sometimes healing doesn't come from pushing forward. Sometimes it comes from slowing down and turning inward. This is where meditation becomes a powerful tool. It gently opens the door to healing. Healing does not always mean that the pain disappears. Sometimes healing means making peace with what happened. It means understanding yourself, accepting your feelings, and slowly learning to breathe again after life has knocked the wind out of you. Meditation gives you space to feel, to release, and to grow. When we sit in silence and close our eyes, we are not running away. We are choosing to face our inner world with courage. Most people run from their pain because it feels too heavy. But pain, when ignored, often grows louder. It shows up as anxiety, anger, fear, or even physical illness. But when we create time for stillness, we give that pain room to breathe. We allow it to rise, speak, and eventually to soften. Let's think about a young man who went through a heartbreak. He had been in a long relationship and truly believed it would last forever. When it ended, he was crushed. At first, he kept himself busy: work, gym, friends, anything to keep his mind off it. But at night, the sadness returned, and he couldn't sleep. One day, a coworker mentioned meditation. He was skeptical, but tried it anyway. Sitting quietly with his breath, he began to notice how much emotion he had buried. It was uncomfortable, even painful, but he kept coming back to the practice. Over weeks and months, something began to shift. He wasn't forgetting the pain, but he was slowly learning to live with it. The tightness in his chest began to loosen. He stopped blaming himself. Through meditation, he gave himself permission to grieve, and that was the beginning of his healing. We all carry emotional scars. Some are fresh, others are old but still tender. Meditation teaches us that we don't need to hide those scars. We can sit with them, listen to them, and even learn from them. In that quiet space, we find kindness, often for the first time in a long time. We learn to treat ourselves gently, not with harsh words or shame, but with the same love we might offer to a close friend. Meditation allows us to feel deeply, and that is a powerful thing. In a world that often teaches us to stay strong and keep moving, meditation says, it's okay to stop. It's okay to feel. It's okay to rest. And through that rest, healing happens. Here's another story that shows this truth. An elderly woman lost her husband after nearly 50 years of marriage. She felt like half of her heart was gone. Her days were quiet and long, and she often cried alone. Her daughter encouraged her to try guided meditation for grief. With hesitation, she began listening to gentle audio tracks each morning. Slowly, her mornings became softer. She still missed her husband deeply, but through meditation, she found a quiet connection to him, a place where memories felt warm instead of painful. She described it like this: I still carry the sadness, but it no longer carries me. Her healing was not forgetting. It was remembering with love instead of pain. Meditation also helps heal the body. Our emotions and physical health are deeply connected. When we're stressed or anxious, our bodies hold tension. This can lead to headaches, fatigue, stomach issues, and even chronic illness. When we meditate, we give our bodies a chance to rest and repair. Deep breathing sends signals to the brain that we are safe. This calms the nervous system, lowers blood pressure, and helps the immune system work better. Imagine someone who had been dealing with chronic back pain for years. Doctors couldn't find anything physically wrong, but the pain persisted. Eventually, he joined a meditation group focused on body awareness. As he practiced, he began to notice how much stress he was holding in his body, especially in his back. He had been carrying emotional tension without even realizing it. As he meditated regularly and became more aware of his body, the pain started to ease. Meditation helped him release what medicine alone could not. The healing began when he turned inward. Sometimes healing means forgiving, not just others, but also ourselves. We've all made mistakes. We've all done things we wish we could change. But guilt and shame, when held too long, become heavy. Meditation creates space for forgiveness. When we sit in silence and observe our thoughts, we start to see them clearly. We realize we are not our past. We are not our worst moments. We are human and we are learning. Through meditation, you can begin to speak gently to yourself. Instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," you might start to say, "I'm doing the best I can." Instead of "I'm broken," you might begin to say, "I'm healing." These small changes in inner dialogue are powerful. They create a path for self-compassion, and compassion is the soil where healing grows. Meditation doesn't offer quick fixes. It's not magic, but it is honest and it is real. It teaches us to show up for ourselves, not just on the good days, but especially on the hard ones. It reminds us that healing is not about escaping our pain, but learning how to live with it with open hands and a steady heart. Let me tell you one more story. A woman who had struggled with anxiety since childhood decided to try meditation after reading about its benefits. At first, her thoughts raced even more. She felt discouraged, but something inside her said to keep going. Each day, she sat quietly for 10 minutes, even if it was uncomfortable. Over time, she began to notice a shift. She still had anxious thoughts, but she no longer believed all of them. She learned to watch them come and go like clouds in the sky. Meditation didn't erase her anxiety, but it gave her tools to live with it. She felt calmer, more in control, and more at peace. She said, "I finally feel like I can breathe again." And that's what meditation can do for you too. It helps you breathe again, not just with your lungs, but with your heart and soul. So if you are carrying pain, if you are waiting for healing, remember this: you don't have to rush. You don't have to fix everything at once. Just begin. Sit, breathe, listen. Be kind to yourself in that space. The healing will come, not all at once, but slowly, gently, and deeply. Your healing begins within. Keep showing up for yourself. You are worth the time. You are worth the care. You are worth the peace that is already waiting for you inside. Chapter 5, Finding Peace in a Busy World. We live in a fast world. Everything moves quickly. Messages, work, news, responsibilities. We are always doing something, thinking about something, or planning for something. There's barely a moment to just breathe. And even when we do stop for a little while, our minds keep running. We think of what's next, what we forgot, or what could go wrong. It's no surprise that so many people feel tired, anxious, and overwhelmed. In the middle of this constant rush, meditation becomes a way to find peace. It gives us a break, a pause, a breath of fresh air when life feels too heavy. Peace isn't something we find in perfect conditions. It's not only found in quiet mountains or calm beaches. Real peace, the kind that stays with you, comes from the inside. Meditation teaches us how to connect with that inner peace, no matter what's happening around us. Imagine someone who works long hours in a loud, busy city. The noise of traffic, the pressure of deadlines, and the stress of expectations wear him down every day. He comes home exhausted, not just in body, but in spirit. One day he reads a short article about the power of mindful breathing. It sounds simple, too simple maybe, but he decides to give it a try. Every evening before dinner, he sits quietly for 5 minutes and just breathes. At first, his thoughts bounce around and he feels restless, but slowly something changes. That 5 minutes becomes his favorite time of day. It's a moment where he doesn't have to perform, please, or produce. It's a moment where he can just be. He begins to notice that even in the middle of a busy life, there is a place inside him that feels still and calm. That is the gift of meditation. One of the beautiful truths about meditation is that it doesn't require you to change your whole life. You don't need to quit your job, move to a quiet forest, or take hours out of your day. You only need a few moments. Even 5 or 10 minutes of daily practice can help you find calm in the chaos. It's like pressing pause in a fast-moving movie. You get a chance to breathe, to see clearly, and to come back to yourself. Think of a mother with 3 young children. Her days are filled with noise, mess, and endless to-do lists. She loves her kids, but sometimes she feels like she's losing herself. She doesn't have time for long breaks, but she decides to create a new habit. Every morning before the children wake up, she takes 7 minutes to meditate. She sits by the window with her tea, closes her eyes, and focuses on her breath. Some mornings are peaceful. Others are filled with thoughts and worries, but she keeps going. With time, she notices she's more patient, less reactive, and more present with her children. Meditation doesn't take her stress away, but it gives her strength to handle it with grace. Peace is not about escaping life. It's about meeting life with calm and clarity. Meditation teaches us how to respond instead of react. When something upsets us, we usually react instantly with anger, fear, or stress. But meditation helps us pause. In that pause, we find the power to choose a better response. We might take a breath instead of shouting. We might offer kindness instead of judgment. We might ask a question instead of making an assumption. These small choices create a more peaceful life. Let's look at a teacher in a crowded school. Every day, she manages dozens of students with different needs and energies. Some days are harder than others. After a particularly stressful week, she attends a weekend retreat that includes meditation. There, she learns how to use short breathing breaks during the day. Back at school, she starts using this tool. Between classes, she closes her eyes for just 1 minute, takes a few deep breaths, and resets her energy. It becomes a quiet anchor in her stormy days. She doesn't have more time, but she has more peace. Her students begin to notice the change too. Her calmness creates a ripple effect in the classroom. This is how meditation works. It doesn't fix all our problems. It changes how we show up for them. It strengthens our inner world so we're not so shaken by the outer one. In a world that moves fast, meditation teaches us to slow down. It reminds us that we don't need to rush through everything. It's okay to do less. It's okay to be still. It's okay to take care of our minds, just like we take care of our bodies. In fact, it's necessary. One of the biggest causes of stress today is mental clutter. We are constantly thinking about the past, the future, the what ifs, and should haves. Meditation helps clear this clutter. It brings us back to the present moment, the only moment where peace is possible. When we are present, we notice more. We see the beauty in small things, a warm cup of tea, a smile from a stranger, the sound of birds in the morning. We begin to live more fully, not just exist. Now imagine someone who works in a high-pressure job. She is constantly chasing goals, managing teams, and trying to prove herself. She often feels like she's running on empty. One evening, after a long day, she decides to try a guided meditation video. It's only 10 minutes, but it shifts something inside her. She feels lighter, even if just a little. She begins to practice each night before bed. Slowly, her sleep improves. Her focus sharpens. She starts to listen more and stress less. Meditation doesn't change her job, but it changes her experience of it. She finds peace not by doing less, but by being more present in what she's doing. We often think peace comes after we've finished everything, after all the problems are solved, after all the work is done. But the truth is, there will always be something more to do. If we wait for peace, we may never find it. But if we create moments of peace through meditation, we can carry that peace with us, even in the busiest times. Meditation shows us that peace is not outside of us, it's within us. Always available, always waiting. All it takes is our attention and our breath. So, wherever you are in life, whether you're busy with work, raising a family, facing challenges, or simply overwhelmed, know this: you can find peace. You don't need to go far. You don't need to change everything. Just start where you are. Sit quietly, breathe, be kind to yourself. In the middle of your busy world, you can be the calm. In the middle of noise, you can find stillness. In the rush of life, you can be at peace. Let meditation be your shelter. Let it be your anchor. Let it be your gentle reminder that no matter how fast the world moves, you can always return to the quiet place within you, where peace begins and never ends. Chapter 6, Building a Stronger Mind. A strong mind is not one that never breaks. A strong mind is one that learns how to bend without snapping. It is steady even during storms, calm even in confusion, and hopeful even in moments of doubt. Meditation helps us build that kind of strength. It doesn't make our problems disappear, but it gives us the power to face them with courage, patience, and a clear heart. Many people think of strength as something physical. We admire strong athletes or people who can handle heavy tasks, but mental strength is just as important, maybe even more. A strong body helps you move through the world, but a strong mind helps you live with meaning, peace, and direction. And just like you build muscles by exercising, you build a strong mind by practicing meditation. Meditation trains the mind the same way exercise trains the body. When we meditate, we learn to focus, to be present, and to stay steady. Our thoughts become clearer. Our reactions become slower. We stop jumping from one emotion to the next. We begin to respond to life instead of being controlled by it. Let's take the story of a young college student who often struggled with focus and self-doubt. He found it hard to sit through classes without his mind wandering. He would start studying, then suddenly feel anxious about exams, about his future, and about whether he was good enough. He tried everything, planners, study groups, even energy drinks. Nothing helped. One day, a mentor introduced him to meditation. At first, it seemed impossible. His thoughts were everywhere, but he kept practicing. He started with just 5 minutes each morning, sitting with his eyes closed, focusing on his breath. Over time, something changed. He was able to focus longer, think more clearly, and calm himself before tests. He wasn't perfect, but he was stronger. Meditation didn't change his challenges, but it changed how he faced them. The mind is powerful. It can lift us up or it can bring us down. What we think often becomes how we feel, and how we feel shapes how we act. If our minds are always negative, distracted, or filled with fear, we begin to carry that energy into everything we do. But through meditation, we can clean the mind. We can make it clearer, lighter, and more peaceful. A strong mind knows how to stay focused. In today's world, focus is rare. We are surrounded by distractions, phones, social media, notifications, noise. It's easy to get lost in it all. But focus is what helps us grow. It's what helps us reach our goals, build deep relationships, and live a meaningful life. When you meditate, you train your mind to return to one thing, your breath, a word, or your present moment. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes to stay focused in daily life too. Think of a small business owner who had a dream of building her own brand. She was passionate, but overwhelmed. There were always 100 things to do, and she often felt like giving up. Then she heard a podcast about meditation and mental clarity. She began practicing mindfulness every morning before opening her shop. Slowly, she became more organized, less stressed, and better at solving problems. She still had busy days, but she was no longer scattered. Her focus helped her succeed. Her mind was strong, not because it never felt stress, but because it had learned how to move through it calmly. Another part of a strong mind is emotional control. This does not mean hiding feelings or pretending to be okay. It means understanding your emotions and not letting them control you. Meditation helps you become an observer of your emotions. When you feel angry, you can pause and notice it instead of acting out. When you feel sad, you can sit with the feeling instead of pushing it away. A strong mind welcomes all emotions, but is not ruled by any of them. Let's consider a firefighter. His job is filled with pressure and danger. One mistake could cost lives. He began using meditation as a way to manage stress and stay sharp. Each morning before putting on his uniform, he spent 10 minutes in silence. This practice helped him stay calm in emergencies. It gave him the mental strength to make clear decisions under pressure. His coworkers noticed his calm presence and began to follow his example. Meditation helped him stay strong, not only for himself, but for others too. Mental strength also includes the ability to keep going when life gets tough. We all face setbacks. We lose things. We fail. People leave. Dreams fall apart. A strong mind doesn't avoid pain, but it knows how to rise again. Meditation gives us that quiet strength. It helps us develop resilience, the ability to bend without breaking, to hurt without giving up, to hope even when it's hard. There was once a man who lost his job after 15 years. He felt like everything he had built was gone. At first, he was crushed, but instead of falling into despair, he turned to meditation to help him process the pain. Each day, he sat in silence, breathing through the sadness, letting his thoughts come and go. In time, his mind became clearer. He saw new paths he hadn't noticed before. Eventually, he started his own small company, doing something he loved even more. Meditation helped him see past the failure and find strength in himself again. A strong mind is not about being fearless. It's about feeling fear and choosing to move forward anyway. Meditation helps us understand fear without being frozen by it. It shows us that fear is just a feeling. It doesn't have to control us. By sitting with fear in meditation, we learn that it loses power the more we face it with awareness. Another piece of mental strength is confidence, not the loud, showy kind, but quiet confidence. The kind that says, I trust myself, I can handle this. Meditation helps you build that trust by connecting you with your inner self. You learn that you are not your doubts. You are not your failures. You are more than any moment, any mistake, or any fear. You are strong even when you feel weak. Meditation also teaches patience. In a world where we want quick results and instant success, patience becomes a rare gift. A strong mind knows how to wait, how to grow slowly, how to trust the process. Every time you sit down to meditate, even when your thoughts are busy, you are practicing patience. You are learning how to stay, how to breathe, how to wait without forcing. That practice begins to show up in daily life too. You become more patient with people, with challenges, and most importantly, with yourself. The beauty of meditation is that it's always available. You don't need special tools. You don't need a perfect space. You just need your breath, your time, and your willingness to try. Over time, with steady practice, your mind becomes clearer, stronger, and more peaceful. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, lost, or weak, start small. Sit for 5 minutes. Focus on your breath. Watch your thoughts without judgment. Do it again tomorrow and the next day. Bit by bit, you will begin to feel the change. Your mind will grow stronger. Your heart will feel lighter, and you will begin to trust in your own strength. Not because life is easy, but because you are learning how to face it with wisdom and courage. Meditation doesn't give you a perfect life. It gives you the strength to live it fully, to feel, to fall, to rise again, to be present even when it's hard, to know you are strong and your strength begins in the quiet. Chapter 7, Meditation and the Power of Gratitude. In life, we often find ourselves focusing on what we don't have. We worry about the things that are missing, the dreams not yet fulfilled, the problems we face, and the people who hurt us. It's easy to get caught in that cycle. We start to believe that we'll only be happy when we get a better job, when we fix a relationship, when we have more money, when life finally becomes easier. But real happiness doesn't live in the when. It lives in the now. And one of the most beautiful gifts of meditation is how it brings us back to the present moment, where we can discover the power of gratitude. Gratitude is the act of recognizing the good that already exists in our lives. It doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to see beauty even in imperfection. It's not about ignoring our struggles. It's about remembering that even in hard times, there is still light. Gratitude doesn't make our problems disappear, but it does help us change how we see them. And meditation is a powerful tool that helps us grow this mindset. When we meditate, we slow down. We take time to notice what's happening right now. Often, we begin with something as simple as our breath. In doing so, we realize that even in this single breath, there is something to be grateful for. We're alive. We're breathing. Our heart is beating. We have this moment. That alone is a miracle. Let's consider a nurse who works long shifts in a busy hospital. Her days are filled with stress, pain, and responsibility. She sees people in their most difficult moments. Over time, she begins to feel burned out and disconnected. A friend suggests she try a gratitude meditation each evening. At first, she feels silly. How could sitting quietly help with everything she's going through? But she gives it a try. She sits in silence and names 3 things she's thankful for. Some days it's a kind word from a patient. Other days it's a hot cup of coffee or the way the sunlight came through the window. Slowly, she begins to feel a shift. Her work is still hard, but her heart feels lighter. She starts seeing beauty in small things again. Meditation didn't remove her stress, but it reminded her of what was still good. Gratitude and meditation work hand in hand. When we are still, we begin to see clearly. We notice the small joys we often overlook: a bird singing, a gentle breeze, the warmth of a blanket, the comfort of a friend's voice. These are the gifts of life that money can't buy. When we take time to appreciate them, our whole world feels richer. Think of a teenager struggling with self-esteem. She compares herself to others on social media and always feels like she's not enough. One day, she hears her school counselor talk about mindful journaling and gratitude practice. She starts writing down 3 things she's thankful for every night before bed. At first, it's hard, but slowly she begins to see the good in herself, her creativity, her kindness, her laughter. She starts using short meditations to focus on her breath and calm her mind. Over time, her self-view changes. Gratitude helps her see that she doesn't need to be like anyone else. She is already valuable just as she is. Gratitude also has a powerful effect on relationships. When we focus only on what others lack or how they disappoint us, resentment grows. But when we take time to appreciate the good in others, their efforts, their love, their small acts of kindness, we create space for healing and connection. A simple practice of gratitude meditation can transform how we relate to our loved ones. A man once shared how he and his spouse were drifting apart. Arguments became common, and the love between them felt buried under years of stress. He read about gratitude meditation and decided to try something new. Every night, he silently focused on what he was grateful for in his partner. Even if they had a disagreement, he still found one good thing to reflect on. Maybe it was her smile or how she made his favorite meal. This quiet practice changed his heart. He began treating her with more kindness. In time, she noticed and responded in kind. Meditation helped him find gratitude, and gratitude helped rebuild love. We often wait for big reasons to feel thankful, a new home, a promotion, success. But true gratitude is found in the little things. Meditation helps us tune into those small moments and recognize their value. It opens our hearts and shifts our attention from what's missing to what's already here. There's also science behind this. Studies show that people who regularly practice gratitude feel happier, sleep better, and have stronger relationships. Meditation enhances these effects by creating space for us to fully feel that gratitude, not just as a passing thought, but as a deep lived experience. Let's take the example of a retired man who lost his sense of purpose after leaving work. For years, his job gave him structure and meaning. Without it, he felt lost. One day, during a community class on wellness, he was introduced to meditation and the power of gratitude. He began a morning routine of sitting quietly, breathing deeply, and thinking about the blessings in his life, his health, his family, the quiet of the morning. Over time, he found joy again. He started gardening, volunteering, and even teaching others what he had learned. Meditation helped him return to a life of meaning, not because it changed his past, but because it opened his heart to the goodness still in his present. It's important to understand that gratitude is not a denial of pain. Life will bring challenges, and we should not ignore them. But gratitude helps us balance the picture. It reminds us that even when things feel dark, there is still light. Even when we feel empty, we are still surrounded by blessings. Meditation gives us the stillness we need to notice that light. It slows the noise of fear, worry, and negativity so that gratitude can speak. And once it speaks, it softens our hearts and strengthens our spirits. If you've never tried gratitude meditation before, start simple. Sit quietly for 5 minutes, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Then bring to mind 3 things you are thankful for. They don't need to be big. A soft pillow, a good meal, a friendly smile. Let each thought fill you with warmth. Let it sink into your heart. If your mind wanders, gently return to your breath and your gratitude. Do this each day, and you will begin to notice a shift. Life may not suddenly become easier, but it will feel richer. Problems may still come, but they won't steal your peace as easily. You will begin to see the beauty in the simple, the sacred, in the ordinary. And perhaps most importantly, you will discover that joy is not something you find later. It's something you create now, with every breath, every moment, and every grateful thought. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a way of seeing the world. And meditation is the key that opens our eyes to that view. So wherever you are, whatever you are going through, pause, breathe, give thanks. Let that gratitude become your strength, your comfort, and your light. Because when you choose gratitude, you choose peace. And when you choose peace, you change everything. Chapter 8, Meditation and the Art of Letting Go. Letting go is one of the hardest things to do in life. We hold on to so many things: pain, guilt, anger, fear, disappointment, expectations, and even people who are no longer meant to stay. Sometimes we hold on because we are afraid of what will happen if we let go. Sometimes we hold on because it feels familiar, even if it hurts. But holding on to the past weighs down the present. It takes up space in our hearts, making it hard to move forward, to heal, and to grow. Meditation teaches us how to release these heavy burdens, not by force, but through awareness, acceptance, and peace. It teaches us that letting go is not about forgetting or giving up. It's about setting ourselves free. It's about choosing our inner peace over our pain. It's about choosing healing over hurting. When you sit in meditation, you begin to notice the thoughts and emotions that rise inside you. Some are light and peaceful. Others are painful. Some are memories from years ago. Some are fresh wounds. Meditation doesn't tell you to push them away. Instead, it invites you to observe them, understand them, and then gently release them, like leaves floating down a river. Let's consider the story of a woman who lost a close friend after a deep misunderstanding. They had been like sisters, but one argument led to silence that lasted for years. The pain stayed with her. Even though she smiled and moved on with life, the wound remained open in her heart. One day at a community center, she joined a meditation circle. The guide led a session on forgiveness and letting go. At first, she resisted. She felt that if she forgave, she was saying it was okay what had happened. But as she sat in silence, breathing deeply, she felt something soften inside. She realized that holding on to the pain was hurting her more than the actual event. Slowly, she let go of her anger. She didn't forget. She didn't go back, but she forgave for her own peace. Meditation helped her find that courage. Letting go through meditation begins with awareness. We must first become aware of what we're holding on to. Sometimes we carry pain so long that we forget it's even there. We bury it deep because we don't want to feel it again. But buried pain doesn't disappear, it just waits. And it comes out in other ways: stress, fear, sadness, or anger. Meditation brings these buried feelings into the light, not to hurt us, but to heal us. We cannot let go of what we do not face. Think of a young man who failed an important exam. He had studied hard, made sacrifices, and believed he would succeed. When he didn't, he felt ashamed and angry with himself. Even months later, he kept replaying the moment he saw his results. He stopped trying new things because he was afraid of failing again. One evening, he found a guided meditation online that focused on self-compassion. As he practiced it daily, he began to forgive himself. He realized that one failure didn't define him. He learned to let go of the moment and embrace the lessons. Meditation didn't erase the experience, but it gave him the space to breathe, to heal, and to try again. Letting go is also about releasing expectations. We often expect people to act a certain way. We expect life to unfold according to our plans. When it doesn't, we feel disappointed or even betrayed. But meditation teaches us that peace comes when we stop fighting reality. When we accept what is, instead of clinging to what should be, we find freedom. We begin to live in the present instead of being trapped by the past or future. Consider a father who always dreamed his son would follow in his footsteps and take over the family business. But his son had other dreams. He wanted to be an artist. At first, the father felt hurt and angry. He thought his son was throwing away a good future. But after months of silence, he joined a weekend meditation retreat. Sitting in silence, he began to reflect deeply. He realized his love for his son was more important than his expectations. He saw that by holding on to his vision, he was pushing his son away. After the retreat, he called his son, and they talked for hours. He let go, not of his love, but of his control. And in doing so, he got back something more precious: their connection. Sometimes we also need to let go of control over the things we simply cannot change. Life doesn't always go the way we want. People leave. Plans fall apart. Health changes. The world can feel unfair. But when we meditate, we begin to understand that peace doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from finding calm in the middle of the storm. It comes from accepting what is and choosing how we respond. Think of a teacher who was diagnosed with a chronic illness. Her energy dropped, and she could no longer keep up with her busy schedule. She felt frustrated and powerless, but she started practicing meditation as a way to cope. Every morning, she sat in silence, focusing on her breath and the parts of her body that still felt strong. She let go of the dream of being who she was before. Instead, she focused on being present with who she was now. Meditation didn't cure her, but it healed her spirit. It gave her the strength to live fully with what she had. Letting go can also mean releasing the need for approval. So many of us live trying to please others, trying to be liked, trying to be enough in someone else's eyes. But meditation helps us turn inward. It reminds us that we are already enough. We don't need to chase approval. We don't need to fit into someone else's box. We just need to be true to ourselves. A university student once shared how she always tried to meet her parents' expectations. She studied what they wanted, dressed how they liked, and made choices based on their dreams. Deep down, she felt empty. She began meditating to ease her anxiety. Through her practice, she began to hear her own voice, the one she had buried under years of shoulds. Slowly, she found the courage to make different choices. She let go of the fear of disappointing others and stepped into her own path. Meditation helped her listen to herself. Letting go is not a one-time act. It's a practice, a process, a journey. Some days we think we've released something only to find it return in a new form. That's okay. Each time we sit in meditation, we practice again. Each breath is a reminder we can begin again. And in letting go, we make space for peace, space for growth, space for joy. The things we once clung to may not disappear overnight, but our grip loosens, our hearts soften, our minds become lighter. We begin to walk through life not with tight fists, but with open hands. So if you're carrying something heavy today, a mistake, a heartbreak, a loss, a fear, know this: you don't have to hold it forever. Sit with it, breathe with it, feel it. And when you're ready, let it go. Not because it didn't matter, but because your peace matters more. Meditation is not about forcing change. It's about creating the space where change can gently happen. And one of the most powerful changes we can make is to finally set down what no longer serves us. Let go, breathe, begin again. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are free, one breath at a time. Chapter 9, Meditation and Discovering Inner Strength. There is a quiet power that lives inside each of us. Sometimes it's easy to see. It shows up when we overcome a challenge, when we protect someone we love, or when we keep going despite pain. But other times, that power feels far away. We feel weak, broken, tired, or lost. Life's storms hit us hard, and we begin to believe we're not strong enough to stand again. In those moments, we need something that reconnects us to our true strength. Meditation does that. It gently brings us back to the place inside where courage, peace, and hope still live. Inner strength doesn't mean you never fall. It means you rise again, even if slowly. It's not about always having answers. It's about being brave enough to sit with the questions. It's not loud or proud. True inner strength is quiet, steady, and real. It whispers, "You can do this. Keep breathing. Keep going." And meditation helps us hear that voice, especially when the world outside is too noisy. Let's look at a woman who moved to a new country with her 2 children. She didn't speak the language well, had no friends nearby, and faced daily struggles just to survive. Some days, she felt like giving up. One night, while scrolling through videos to calm her racing thoughts, she came across a simple meditation for stress relief. Curious, she followed along. She sat still, breathed deeply, and let herself be quiet. That night, she slept better than she had in months. She began to meditate every morning before the day began. It didn't erase her challenges, but it gave her strength. She faced each day with more clarity and courage. Meditation became her anchor in the storm. That's what inner strength is. It's not about escaping the storm, but learning how to stand in the middle of it. Meditation teaches us how. When we sit down and turn our attention inward, we begin to realize we're not helpless. We're not alone. We are not the chaos around us. We are the stillness beneath it. Think of a high school athlete who got injured just before an important tournament. His whole identity was built on his success in sports. When he couldn't play anymore, he felt lost. His self-worth dropped. His motivation disappeared. His coach suggested he try meditation, not for the body, but for the mind. He didn't want to at first, but with time, he gave it a chance. As he learned to focus on his breath and sit with his feelings without judgment, he discovered a deeper part of himself, not the athlete, but the person. He found strength in being, not just in doing. That experience reshaped his life. He eventually healed, but more importantly, he grew. Meditation helped him see that his value was never only in what he did, but in who he was. Meditation is like digging into the ground until we reach the roots. On the surface, we might be shaken by life, winds of change, storms of sadness, fires of fear. But when we go deep enough, we find that we are rooted, we are grounded. The strength has always been there, we just forget. Meditation helps us remember. It also teaches us how to respond instead of react. When something upsets us, our first response is often automatic. We get angry, scared, or discouraged. But inner strength means having the space to choose a different way. Meditation builds that space. It teaches us to pause, to breathe, and to see clearly before acting. That pause is powerful. It gives us control over our own thoughts and choices. Let's think about a manager at a fast-paced job. Every day brought new stress. He often reacted with frustration, snapping at coworkers and taking the pressure home with him. His relationships were breaking down. One day, after a tense argument, he decided to change. He started using 5-minute meditations at work, just small moments of silence and breath between meetings. Slowly, he began responding with more patience. His team noticed. His home life improved. Meditation didn't change the job, but it changed him. It helped him become the calm in the chaos. Inner strength is also about staying kind, even when the world feels cruel. It's easy to become bitter when life hurts us. But bitterness builds walls around the heart. Strength means staying open. Meditation helps with this. When we meditate, we practice compassion toward ourselves and others. We learn to let go of harsh judgment. We see that everyone is struggling in their own way. This kindness doesn't make us weak. It makes us wise and strong. Imagine an elderly man who lived alone. He had lost his partner and felt forgotten by many people. Bitterness began to grow in his heart. But one day, at a local library, he joined a free meditation session. They practiced loving kindness meditation, sending goodwill first to themselves, then to others. It felt strange at first, but something inside him shifted. He began to see the world with softer eyes. He started smiling more, talking to neighbors, volunteering at a food bank. Meditation opened his heart and reawakened his inner strength, not the strength of muscles, but the strength of spirit. Meditation also builds emotional strength. Life can throw intense emotions our way: grief, loss, loneliness, heartbreak. These feelings are natural, but they can be overwhelming. Meditation doesn't push emotions away. It gives us a safe space to feel them fully. It reminds us that emotions come and go like waves, but we are the ocean underneath. We are bigger than any single feeling. Think about a college student who lost her mother suddenly. The grief was deep and constant. She couldn't focus, couldn't sleep, couldn't find peace. A professor introduced her to meditation as a way to cope. At first, all she could do was cry during her sessions, but she kept showing up. Bit by bit, she learned to sit with her grief without drowning in it. Meditation gave her a place to meet her sorrow with gentleness. Over time, that gentle presence became her strength. She began to heal, not by escaping the pain, but by walking through it. Inner strength is quiet. It doesn't boast. It doesn't need praise. It simply stays. It holds us up when we think we're about to fall. And the beautiful thing is, it's already inside you. Meditation doesn't give you strength. It reveals the strength you already have. You don't have to climb a mountain or win a battle to be strong. Sometimes strength is just showing up, sitting down, closing your eyes, taking one breath at a time, saying, I'm still here. So if you feel weak today, if life feels too heavy, don't run from it. Sit with it. Breathe through it. Let meditation guide you inward. Let it remind you of what's true. You are strong, stronger than you think. Strong enough to face the day, to carry the pain, to rise again. And as you keep practicing, you will see something amazing. Your roots grow deeper. Your heart grows braver. Your mind grows calmer. And your spirit becomes unshakable. That is the gift of meditation. It doesn't make you someone else. It helps you meet yourself, the strong, steady, beautiful self that's been there all along. Chapter 10, Living a Life of Peace Through Meditation. Peace. It's something we all want. A calm heart, a quiet mind, a life where we don't feel constantly rushed, worried, or overwhelmed. We dream of peace like it's a faraway place, a quiet cabin in the mountains, a walk on a beach at sunrise, or maybe just a moment in our day without noise or stress. But what if peace isn't something we find outside of us? What if true peace lives inside, waiting for us to slow down and listen? Meditation shows us that this is not only possible, it is real. Peace is not a place. Peace is a state of being. As we reach the final chapter of this journey, we look at the greatest gift meditation offers, the ability to live a peaceful life, not just during the few minutes we sit quietly each day, but throughout everything we do. Meditation doesn't just change the way we sit, it changes the way we live. Living a life of peace doesn't mean nothing ever goes wrong. It doesn't mean you never feel upset or face hard times. It means that no matter what happens, you know how to return to your center. You learn how to come back to the breath, the present moment, and the calm inside. This is the power of meditation. It helps you build a life where peace becomes your natural state, not a rare escape. Let's take the story of a man who worked as a bus driver in a busy city. His days were long and full of noise, traffic, angry passengers, delays. Over time, stress built up in his body. He began to feel tired, irritated, and disconnected from the people around him. One day, he saw a small flyer about meditation classes at a community hall near his home. He decided to give it a try. After a few weeks of daily practice, something began to shift. He didn't lose his temper as easily. He began to notice the small joys in his day, sunlight through the window, a child's smile, the rhythm of the road. He still had the same job, the same city, the same challenges, but inside, he had changed. Meditation helped him live his life with more peace, even in the middle of chaos. This is how meditation works. It transforms how we see and feel everything. When we meditate regularly, our nervous system begins to relax. Our thoughts slow down. We become more present in our daily activities. Washing dishes becomes a moment of quiet focus. Walking becomes a gentle rhythm of breath and steps. Conversations become deeper and more meaningful. We stop rushing through life, and instead, we begin to live it. Living in peace also means we stop fighting with ourselves. So many people carry an inner voice that is full of judgment. You're not good enough. You should be doing more. Why can't you be like them? These thoughts create stress, sadness, and fear. But through meditation, we start to hear another voice, the voice of acceptance, the voice that says, you are enough, just as you are. That voice is soft, but it is true. Meditation helps us believe it. Consider a young artist who always doubted her work. No matter how much praise she received, she never felt proud. Her mind kept telling her she wasn't talented enough. One day, she tried a meditation challenge online. She practiced daily for a month, sitting with her doubts, breathing through her fears. By the end of that month, she hadn't suddenly become fearless, but she had stopped believing every negative thought. She started creating with more joy, not just for success, but for peace. Meditation helped her stop being her own enemy and start being her own friend. Peace also grows when we learn to forgive, not just others, but ourselves. Life is full of mistakes, regrets, and hard lessons. We all carry things we wish we had done differently. But holding on to guilt or anger keeps our hearts heavy. Meditation gives us a space to let go, to soften, and to heal. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is freedom, and it starts within. There's also a deeper kind of peace that comes from connecting with something greater than ourselves. Whether you call it spirit, nature, God, love, or simply silence, meditation opens the door to that connection. When we sit in stillness, we begin to feel that we are not alone. We are part of something bigger, something beautiful. This connection brings peace that goes beyond understanding. It's the peace of knowing that we belong, that we matter, and that we are loved. Take, for example, a woman who had lost her sense of purpose after retiring from a long career. She felt invisible, as if her best days were behind her. One day, while visiting a park, she joined a group sitting quietly under a tree. They were meditating. Curious, she sat with them. The stillness felt strange at first, but also comforting. She returned the next week and the next. Through meditation, she began to feel alive again, not because of achievements, but because she discovered a deep sense of being. She realized she didn't need to do anything to have worth. She found peace in simply being. Meditation also helps us live peacefully with others. When we are calm inside, we bring calm to those around us. We listen more. We judge less. We become more patient, more understanding, more kind. We create peaceful homes, peaceful workplaces, and peaceful communities, not by trying to control others, but by living from a place of inner peace ourselves. A peaceful life is not a perfect life. It's a life lived with awareness. It's a life where you notice the sunrise, taste your food, hear the laughter of children, and feel the ground beneath your feet. It's a life where you respond with love, even when the world gives you reasons to be unkind. It's a life where you know that even on hard days, you can sit down, close your eyes, and return to your breath. That breath is always there. That peace is always there. So how do you live a life of peace through meditation? Start simple. Sit each day, even for 5 minutes. Breathe. Notice your thoughts without chasing them. Feel your body. Listen to your heart. Over time, your practice will grow. And as it grows, your life will begin to change, not suddenly, but surely. You will begin to feel more grounded, more gentle, more open. Peace will become your way of being. You'll face problems with more calm. You'll meet pain with more strength. You'll connect with others more deeply. You'll make decisions with more clarity. And most of all, you will live your life with more joy, not because it's perfect, but because you are present. In this noisy world, meditation is a return to silence. In this restless world, it is a return to stillness. And in a world that often forgets the soul, meditation is a return to yourself. Peace is not something you need to chase. It is something you already have. Meditation helps you remember. So take a breath. Be here. Be now. You are alive. You are enough. You are at peace. And this, dear reader, is the life you were meant to live. A life not ruled by fear or hurry or pain, but a life lit by presence, touched by grace, and rooted in deep, unshakable peace. This is the gift of meditation. This is the gift you carry forward now, with every breath, with every step, for the rest of your beautiful journey. Final words. Your journey begins within. As we reach the end of this book, take a moment to pause. Breathe in deeply. Feel the air move gently through your body. Let it remind you that you are here, alive, and full of possibility. You've walked through the pages of this book, one chapter at a time, learning how meditation can touch every part of your life. But this is not really an ending. In truth, it's a beginning, the start of a journey that leads you inward to a place of peace, strength, and purpose that has always been within you. Meditation is not something that belongs only to the wise or the spiritual. It's not reserved for quiet temples or silent retreats. It's for everyone. It's for the mother who wakes before sunrise just to have a few moments of peace before the day begins. It's for the teenager feeling lost in a noisy world of comparison. It's for the worker tired from the weight of endless demands. It's for the elder searching for calm after a lifetime of movement. It's for you. You don't need special skills or fancy tools to begin. All you need is your breath. Your breath is your constant companion. It never leaves you. Whether you're in a crowded room or walking alone under the stars, your breath is there, guiding, grounding, and gently calling you home to yourself. Sometimes you may sit in meditation and feel nothing. That's okay. Other times you may feel a wave of emotion or a deep silence or a surprising insight. That's okay too. Meditation isn't about having a perfect experience. It's about showing up. It's about learning to meet whatever comes with open hands and a gentle heart. With time, you'll notice the changes, not always in the moments you meditate, but in the way you live between those moments. You'll notice that you worry less and breathe more. You'll notice that you're kinder, not just to others, but to yourself. You'll begin to trust your inner voice. You'll stop running from discomfort and start facing it with courage. And little by little, you'll build a life filled not with constant noise, but with steady presence. I want to leave you with one last story. There was a man who lived in a busy neighborhood filled with traffic and noise. For years, he believed he needed to move far away to find peace. He dreamed of quiet forests and distant mountains. But one day, he sat down in the middle of his noisy apartment, closed his eyes, and began to breathe. At first, the noise was still there. But as he kept practicing, something shifted. The noise outside remained, but the noise inside began to fade. In time, he found peace, not because the world changed, but because he changed how he met the world. He learned that true peace doesn't come from where you are. It comes from who you are becoming. You have everything you need. Inside you is a calm deeper than the ocean, a light brighter than the sun, and a strength greater than any storm. Meditation will help you remember this. It will help you rise when you fall, stay steady when life shakes you, and move forward with love and purpose. So as you close this book, don't leave behind what you've learned. Carry it with you. Practice it daily. Even if it's only for a few minutes, let those minutes be sacred. Let them be your space to return, to rest, and to remember. And when life feels too fast, too heavy, or too loud, pause, breathe, come home to yourself. You are not your worries. You are not your past. You are not your fears. You are peace. You are presence. You are power. And your journey is just beginning. Thank you so much for watching Benefits of Meditation here on Fearless Audio. Your time and presence mean everything to us. We hope this audiobook brought peace, inspiration, and clarity into your day. If this journey touched your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe to support our channel. Your support helps us reach more souls in need of calm and encouragement. Stay grounded, stay kind, and remember, everything you seek is already within you.